What's happening, everyone?
What's up?
Matty B here again with the beers.
You should go back to your strip malls and drink your Zimas.
And the Vocasted beats, because today we are checking out the new Vocaster 1 and Vocaster 2. These are two new interfaces from Focusrite geared directly towards the podcast and content creation crowd. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a Vocaster, so I can't physically show you the interfaces, but we're going to do what we always do, and we're going to talk about them. Now, if you want to see the interfaces in action, a few of my favorite gear-related channels, Audio Hotline and Booth Junkies, did hands-on testing with the interfaces, and I will link those down below. Now, if Andrew does a video, we'll have the Holy Trinity. So it actually took me so long to edit this that Bandrew did make a video, and I will link it down below. But before that, like always, you can check out me and my loser not Vocaster interface.
Loser! You're a loser!
On the weekly Vinyl Drum and Bass stream every Sunday, noon Pacific.
Link to that in the description down below.
So here we have the Vocaster 1 and the Vocaster 2 left and right respectively. Now these are virtually the same thing with just a few differences. The Vocaster 2 having features that the Vocaster 1 does not. Looking at the top, you can tell that this was designed with the podcaster in mind. All of the controls are laid out to be easily accessed and user-friendly. Starting with the Voicecaster 1, all of the controls affect the one microphone input, which they call host, further evidence that they're really trying to market this towards podcasters. Over on the Voicecaster 2, it's as if there's an invisible line drawn down the middle. All the controls on the left affects the host input. All the controls on the right, which are mirrored from the left, they control the guest input. This very large knob you see here,
that's what she said.
that is your microphone input gain. On the Vocaster 1, it is just your one mic gain. On the Vocaster 2, it is a dual purpose knob. If you select the host microphone, it'll affect the host gain. And if you select the guest microphone, it'll affect the guest gain. The smaller knob is your headphone/monitor level. This affects both your headphones and the monitors at the same time. On the Vocaster 1, it is just the one knob. On the Vocaster 2, the left knob is your headphones and your monitors. The right knob is the guest headphones. Both host and guest will hear the same mix. They'll just be able to control the level independently from each other. And these ring lights around the gain knob are your microphone level indicator. On the V1, the host microphone shows up on both sides of the ring lights. On the V2, your host microphone will show up on the left and your guest microphone will show up on the right. I believe these lights up top are your clip lights. Moving down, we have your controls. So our first button here is your mute button. This mutes your microphone. When the microphone is muted, your mute light will turn on and your level indicator lights will turn red. From what I've seen in other videos, there's no popping and there's no fading. It just drops your microphone out and then it brings your microphone back in. The middle button with the magic wand, this is the enhance button.
Enhance.
These are your built-in effects to alter the sound of the microphone. You can turn on and off the enhance effects with this button, but I believe you can only select one of the 4 presets in the app. The third and final button in your controls is the auto gain in the V1 and the auto gain / mic selector in the V2. In both models, if you hold that button down, it will go into auto level mode. And what that does, it kills your audio for about 8 seconds. And while you talk as you normally would talk into the microphone, it analyzes all the levels and it sets it for you of what it thinks you should be at. From what I've seen, it's about -12 to -10 in that range, which is perfect. On the V2, it also acts as your microphone selector switch. Whichever channel is selected, that's the channel that is being affected by the microphone gain knob. The front of the interface has your headphone jacks. A single 1/4" jack on the V1, 2 1/4" jacks on the V2. Left is your host, right is your guest. The top right has all of your indicator lights. 48-volt phantom power and aux input appears on both. Bluetooth connectivity shows up on the V2. All of the physical controls that can be done on either unit can also be done in the app, and we will be looking at that later. Looking over at the back, we have all of our I/O and a couple of buttons. Both units are damn near identical except for one feature. Starting left to right, we have our power button, then our USB-C input, because holy shit, it's 2022 and people are finally putting USB-C in stuff. Then that lock thing that nobody uses. This one down here, this is your camera output. What this does, it uses 3.5mm and it will send the audio directly to your camera. Then on the right on the V2, this is your Bluetooth switch. You hit that button, you connect whatever device you have, and you can play Bluetooth audio through the interface. Moving forward again, starting at the top, that is your aux in. It says phone, but I'm sure you can use anything and then plug it into that 3.5mm slot. Directly below that is your 1/4" monitor outputs. And to the right and up a little bit is your 48-volt phantom power. That's for your condenser microphones or your microphone boosters, which you shouldn't need. Because lastly, we have your microphone inputs with 70 decibels of gain. That is enormous.
That's what she said.
That'll take any microphone you can throw at it and then some. The V1 just has the single host microphone, and of course the V2 has the host and the guest microphone inputs. Then moving over to the app, this is the app user interface. In my opinion, it's a bit ugly, it looks old, but it works. It's very simple and it's very straightforward. It's as user-friendly as it gets. And I haven't heard of any bugs of it yet, so it's apparently pretty stable. For the Vocaster 1, you only have the one microphone section. For the Vocaster 2, you have your host and your guest section. Then starting at the top all the way to the right, this little speaker icon is your monitor mute. So if you hit that, it will mute your monitors. If you have your monitors hooked up and you're recording something and you don't want sound coming from the monitors to bleed into the microphone, hit that button, it will mute them. Click that button again, it'll unmute them. Pretty simple. The 3 dots here, that's just information. Nothing fancy. In your microphone sections here, you have your 48 volts on top here. You can click that in the app or you can hit it on the interface. They both work. Then your microphone gain, it shows the level you are. It shows the meter. It doesn't have a decibel reading though. Your mute button, your enhance. Now, I believe one of the only things you can't physically do on the interface is select the enhance mode. It has a drop-down menu. This is where you select between the 4 settings, and then you can turn it on and off. And your auto gain. Now, in the app, it is just the auto gain. Whereas on the interface, it's the dual purpose mic selector / auto gain, of course on the V2 only. Then down here is your mix section. So this is your host microphone level. This is your guest microphone level. Your aux, which would be the aux input on the back. Your Bluetooth level. Your loopback 1 and 2. I believe those go with the Hindenburg software, so you can have other stuff coming in. You can have pre-recorded tracks and play them, and then you can select the levels here. And this is the overall show mix. So this is your total level of everything combined. And you also have mutes at the bottom of here. Like I've said before a bunch of times, almost everything you can do in the app, you can do on the interface. Almost everything you can do on the interface, you can do in the app. They are damn near identical. So there we have it, the Vocaster and Vocaster 2. Overall, I think these are really cool. I love the simplicity. Focusrite went out of their way to make it as user-friendly as possible, and it shows. The software, while ugly, does what it needs to do, and so far I haven't seen any complaints of it being buggy or crashing or just not working right. And those pre's, holy shit.
Impressive. Very nice.
Those pre's are awesome. From what I've seen, they are really quiet and they are really strong. They can take whatever mic you want to throw at it. And of course, it is not without its drawbacks. The biggest one being the combined headphone and monitor out. Why would you do that?
What the fuck were they thinking?
Maybe it was a cost-cutting measure, but seriously, it is just such a dumb idea. If you have headphones and you have a main output, they need to be separate. There is no world in which this makes sense. They shouldn't have done it. Like Mike from Junkie said, there are workarounds if you have the Vocaster 2, but you shouldn't have to work around just to get your headphones and monitors separate. That is dumb, especially with how much you're paying for these. It should just be separate like every other interface in the world. And finally, the price. The Vocaster 1 is going for $199, which I think might be a little bit high, but the Vocaster 2 for $299, I think that's a bit too much. An extra hundo just for one more input? No dice.
No dice.
Now you could make the argument that the pre's alone are going to save you 1 or 2 Benchy Boys because you're not going to need a booster like the Fethead or Cloud Lifter, and that is a valid argument. Besides the cable and the mic, this is literally all you need to start a podcast in one sleek little box. And for a certain person, that could more than be worth it with what you don't have to spend on other gear or software. But what do you think? Let's talk about the Vocaster and the Vocaster 2 down below. Do all that YouTube algorithm stuff or whatever. Check the socials. Huge shout out to our patrons, Dave C, The Urban Ghost, Medic, Jason Story, Jamie Darnell, and the Ronies. To see how you can become a patron and help support the channel, check the description. Thanks for watching. Peace. What do you think of the new Vocaster? Do you like it? Do you think it's the best interfaces for podcasting? Do you know something I don't know? Is there a reason you're not talking to me? What are you hiding? He won't talk.